First of all, it's Robert Pattinson.
That's correct.
Is there a, because in England I've watched interviews and stuff online and they say Pattinson. Is that simply a colloquialism from England?
I guess. I mean, I guess it's more of a sort of American Patterson. Patterson's like a completely normal name. It's annoying. I think my uncle changed his name to Patterson because everyone spelled it wrong.
Everybody wants you to be Patterson.
Yeah, I know. It's irritating, I know. It's very irritating.
I am here with quite a famous Robert, and I'm going to illustrate how famous you are. If you go to Google, do you know about this predictive texting they have now on Google? Like, if you start to type in a word, it tells you what it thinks you might be typing in.
Yeah.
So if you type in Robert in Google, you're the first thing that comes up.
Oh, really?
The first thing. More than Kennedy, De Niro, Redford. Hold on, I wrote down a bunch of these. Downey Jr., Frost, Robert Frost, Wagner, Plant. You're the most famous Robert in the world.
That's crazy, because there used to be a Robert Pattinson school in England, which I was always competing with on Google.
No kidding.
And I think they got the students to keep hitting their website all the time just so they could go above it. Yeah, it's some private school in the north of England.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And now does everyone assume it's named after you?
I don't know. I never asked anyone. I've always wanted to visit it though. Wow. But
is there like a
people that's named after me?
Yeah, okay. Is there like a Jonas Brothers Elementary? And, hey, speaking of them, and you know what? Because of the radio job, we interview lots of pop stars and stuff. And I remember Hanson telling me, like, way back. You know who Hanson is?
Yeah.
Like way back when they were, you know, just teenagers were crazy about him. I said, "Is there anything you wish for, like when you go out on that stage?" And Isaac said, "Sometimes I wish they would just shut up and listen to the music." Do you ever worry that the spectacle becomes bigger than the craft of acting? Like, I mean, it's not a new phenomenon for you because of Harry Potter, right?
Yeah, there wasn't so much screaming for that. But luckily, I don't actually have to do anything when I go to these screaming sessions. I just stand there and get screamed at. So I don't really feel any kind of... yeah, it's not like I'm playing any music. I'm not saying anything important. I just just keep repeating myself, and like people just keep screaming.
In our city, there are 3,000 people waiting since last night in the rain. This is not a new thing for you. This is happening in San Francisco. Tell me about San Francisco the other night.
Well, I didn't know anything about it until I mean, I literally just get told what to do. I turn up, and then all the fans are like, "We really appreciate you coming back." And I'm like, "I wasn't here yet." Like, I don't understand what happened. But apparently it got, people were like rioting or something in the mall. And they were definitely, I mean, they're so intense, the fans. Little girls are more passionate about anything.
Anything and everything.
Yeah.
That's what's great about it.
I know, definitely, yeah.
Now, there are many women, I mean, you're only 22. There are many girls your age that show up at these things, and some of them are way beautiful. And I was wondering, while I watched just a homemade video of this on YouTube today, if you ever look out there and go, wow, she's really attractive, could you ever start something with someone who has such a high opinion of you going in, that they would come to a mall and...
I'd love it. I'd love to do that. That's the relationships I'm always looking for.
Really?
They just come into it. The first thing they say is that they love you.
It's so much less work.
You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything. Has it always been that way?
No, not at all. It started about 2 months ago.
2 months.
Yeah. I mean, 2 or 3 months.
But you were a model, and you were doing pretty well. I mean, you've been a model since you were a kid, right?
Well, I was a model from 12 to 16 and I did about 4 million castings and got about 6 jobs.
Is that right?
I was terrible at doing it. It was good for acting though, because when you go into acting, you're just so immune to rejection. Yeah, and you get rejected so much in acting, and I just, you just don't care. I mean, as long as you don't have to just walk into a room like in a modeling casting, you walk into a room and they just say no immediately.
Wow.
And so. In acting, at least you have to actually put some thought into it.
Right,
yeah.
and they may not just discount you immediately on sight. Yeah. I was auditioning for this years ago. I just did it to try to make money because I lost my radio job, and I auditioned for a clothing company. And I walked in with my agent, and the casting director said, "I told you I wanted tall, and I told you I wanted good looking. Why did you bring him?" And I'm like, hello, I'm standing right here.
I know, like, I got so many times throughout doing modeling castings, they were like, we're looking for someone more built. Oh, it's always more built when I'm like 13 years old. I'm just like,
How built can I be?
I know, I was just tall, so everyone assumed I was older, and they're like, yeah, you look too much like a girl. And I was like, okay.
Didn't your sisters introduce you as a girl? I heard a Claudia story. Is that true?
That was, I don't even remember when I told people that. That was when I was really little.
Can't drink an interview, I'm telling you. It's a bad idea. It's a horrible idea.
No, yeah, they always used to, yeah, I had kind of long hair, so they always used to like, I have 2 older sisters, and I didn't really know what was going on, obviously, when I was a little kid, so I assumed they just, I was their toy.
Right. That tells me you're probably a good boyfriend, though, if you had 2 older sisters. You understand women. They got you in line.
I don't understand women at all.
You don't? Really?
I don't even understand my sisters.
Really?
Yeah, well, my sister, they're really close in age, and so they were kind of hanging out with each other, and I was just always this kind of freak at the bottom.
You were comparing yourself, not just voluntarily, you were asked the question between yourself and Edward, and somebody asked you what guys could learn from Edward, and the first thing you said was they could learn to be personal life, because right now you're being interviewed 75,000 times a day.
Yeah, no, I've never done that.
Never, me neither.
Yeah, and that's you realize when you
so bad with girls because of that. You're just like
I
the
know.
whole story just spills.
Yeah, I know.
out,
And literally,
right?
when you end up, like, I get so many instances where people are saying like, I know. Whenever you say something, my general response is they always know already because I've told them my entire life story. Today, I can't stop speaking.
And if pressed, you could probably come up with 2 or 3 things about them, maybe.
Yeah, half the time I don't even remember people's names. Right. Like when I've known them for weeks.
And they know everything about you.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that makes you and I self-centered. That's awesome. Cool. No, I don't think you're not. You can't be. You can't be to be able to do what you do, especially with this character. And I haven't seen it yet. It is. It's acting, but you have to have empathy to be a good actor, don't you?
Yeah, you have empathy, but you don't necessarily have to show anyone. It's hidden empathy.
Hidden empathy. You also said that you were somewhat like Edward in that when you kiss, you tend to go crazy, overboard.
There's things like that come out when you're talking to crowds of screaming 14-year-old girls.
That's why I'm using them against you now.
And when it comes out of context, it's like...
Is that pandering then? Like, when I kiss, I go crazy.
Yeah, I know. You try and think of if you make any answer go longer than 20 seconds, then like people are like. So you had to get it. So
you don't go crazy when you kiss like Edward? Is that what you're saying?
Well, not all the time.
Okay. Have you noticed the fickleness of teen girls, that they've gone from saying, "Hey, there's Cedric," to "Hey, oh my God, it's Edward"?
There was definitely a day when it changed. But I mean, there's something about this book that, I mean, it really hasn't let up. There was a period where I thought when there was so much hype and everything, but I thought, you know, these people, suddenly the attention will go from positive to negative, and then I'm done. That's my career done. Right. I'm still worried about that, but I mean, it's lasting a lot longer than I thought it would. The positives.
You're fine. I think you're going to be all right. Especially when they're talking. Someone's talking about doing 3 of these or 4 of these.
Yeah, I hope so. If I'm just sort of, I know I'd hate to be like a dartboard for teenage girls' hates.
That doesn't happen very often.
It does sometimes. I think it does. I think, you know, when girls decide to change their mind, it's like done.
From the best to the automatically the worst.
Immediately, it can take like 20 minutes. They just need to get told. The only reason they changed was that Stephanie Meyer said that she supported me. So
that's all it took.
I know, the whole fan base. Any guy who is having trouble with girls, just get Stephanie Meyer.
That's all you need. Yeah. That's all you need. And that's why you auditioned? Or I mean, she's a cool, gritty kind of director, which made it cool. Is that what you were thinking? You were going to be doing some small indie film called Twilight?
Definitely. I'd seen, Catherine, I saw, you know, I'd seen 13 and loads of Dogtown and stuff.
Yeah. And
just thought, yeah, she doesn't make big teen like commercial movies. Right. So and it's a vampire movie, and I was just thinking like, how is she going to do that? Right. And Kristen as well. Kristen doesn't do big movies. Right. So yeah, I kind of went into it thinking that.
Stephanie said her one departure from the first cut was that she thought the kiss between you and Kristen was way too passionate for a couple so early on in their relationship, and they've since edited that back. Did you see it both ways? Did you see it all the way and then all the way back the other way?
Yeah, I thought it was the other way that they edited it for. I mean, they're relatively similar, to be honest.
Really?
In fact, Kristen is wearing less clothes than the one which is in the final cut.
Really?
So I think that kind of...
Which is awkward when you're friends.
Yeah, it's like before she was like wearing like pajamas or something, and then in the actual thing she's like hardly wearing anything. So,
wow.
So yeah, that was... Yeah, I don't know how that tones it down.
That's what was said, though. That's what she said, that the first cut, that was her major thing, was that we have to tame down that first kiss.
Oh, I haven't actually seen the final cut, so maybe they have toned it.
Oh, you haven't?
Uh-uh.
Okay. This company that made the movie... Got a wrap? Okay. This company that made the movie Summit, I don't know if you knew this going in, but they've never made a movie that grossed more than $25 million, and that's what this movie is supposed to do on the very first weekend. So this is like new territory for everybody. Did you know that going in? Like that it was a... I don't know if being from England, if you knew who Summit was.
I knew they were a new studio, and they're like a medium-sized studio, and they're also releasing tons and tons of stuff at the moment. They're trying to get things going, but and they're definitely centered around not massive budgets, like star-driven things. But I don't even think Summit had any idea what this was when they were doing it, like any idea, because we could feel them. Like after we shot it, and it all started happening after we shot it, and they were trying to. You could feel everybody's like scrambling to like reorganize their whole publicity campaign because no one had any idea what it was.
And everything. Bring in the cubicles, hire people. We've got to get...
Yeah.
There's a good chance there's going to be growing pains on this, Probably already have been.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was strange because even setting it up, it was always an outside chance. I mean, for the sequels. I mean, it wasn't like, okay, and we're doing the sequel at this point. Yeah, it's like we kind of signed on for sequels, but it was just completely dependent on whether it does well.
Thank you so much. It's been terrific. Nice to meet you. Do you think you'll marry an American girl or a British girl? If you had to guess.
Ooh. Oh, I couldn't say. I have no idea.
Okay.